So John, what's
All right.
next?
Well, let me just stop for 1 second and actually frame up again
Yeah.
the predictions. We do this every year. This year, actually, it was a little bit harder for me because some of the things that I had said last year are still in play. Some of the things that I predicted and made very specific predictions on, they don't play out within a 12-month period perfectly. Sometimes
Yeah.
they take 18 months. Sometimes they take 2 years. Sometimes they go a
Hmm.
little faster, a little slower, but the trend is clear and the trend is continuing to go in the same direction. So what I thought this year we'd sort of do, and you'll see this if you read the blog post, but it was essentially kind of looking back a little bit, every bit as much as looking forward. We were kind of looking back to see what how things had progressed, things that were moving forward. And data is one of those that seems to be just constantly marching forward. The use of data,
Mhm.
the data management challenges, the competitive advantage that you get by harnessing data within your business. And that's really what I focused on, is the fact that the companies that are moving to the cloud are doing so because they oftentimes have a data problem. They have a data opportunity and a data problem that goes with it. And they are trying to figure out how to monetize data. If you look at the biggest companies in the world of IT or technology, people like Google, people like Facebook,
Right.
people like Microsoft, those are people that have figured out a way to collect data, use data, make it more valuable, share it more efficiently. Um, just really, they become masters of data management and analytics. And I think every company is starting to wake up to that. Many companies are building new businesses on that concept of, look, we're going to become a data company. Many other companies are transforming themselves from what they used to be to being more of a data company. We see that, very much in the case of well, like Uber, for example.
Right.
Uber is one I used in my blog post. It's a great example of somebody who took a old world industry and added technology and data and really changed the game fundamentally.
Hmm.
They know who their riders are. They know where their riders are based on GPS technology. They know how frequently they utilize the service, and they can probably predict when they're going to use the service again. They know how to organize their drivers based on all of that. They know how to efficiently locate
Hmm.
people. They can change the pricing model. We saw this over New Year's. I mean, they
Mhm.
fundamentally pissed a lot of people
It
off, but
did.
but it is a very savvy business move to change your
Mhm.
pricing based on demand in real time, right? And so, they're going to work through those things where they balance the making people mad versus the making the things more efficiently versus making money. But ultimately, the data is at the heart of that, and the analytics that go on top of that data, and then just the management challenge of harnessing all of that data is really the thing that most companies are grappling with.
Well, they found a double-edged sword. They
They
could
did.
both incentivize their drivers to be more available in those times where they might otherwise not want to be
That's
available
right.
to meet the demand, and then everyone benefits from having a ride when maybe you ought not be driving and all the other components around their business. So they found a lot of uses for the data they had. And one thing I realize when I visit customers, I work with a lot of our enterprise customers that aren't traditional IT shops. They're based, the IT groups that I work with within those businesses are, in San Francisco, like you'd expect. But you look at the brand on the door, and it's not what you think of when you think
Mm-hmm.
of, oh, that's a tech shop. Well,
Right.
they're doing a lot of really interesting things with technology.
Well, a great example. There's a company called Under Armour. Under
Yeah.
Armour makes clothing and shoes, and they're a
Yep.
Rackspace customer. They have been for a long time. Um, they are becoming a data company. They are trying to instrument their customers' lives with things like Map My Fitness and Map My Ride and Map My Run.
Mhm.
They acquired that company a while back. They have technology now that like the Fitbits. That's a different company, but the example is everybody
Mhm.
knows is the Fitbit or the Apple Watch, where you're now able to measure your heart rate or measure your fitness level or track your workouts,
Calories
calories,
in,
all of those things.
calories out,
Well,
all
that's
that.
all data, and that
Hmm.
data is going into a database somewhere, and the databases are typically in the cloud, and then the analytics sometimes are played back to the users. The user now has a very clear view of all of their fitness levels and all that. The benefit to the company is a stickier relationship with their customer. They now know more about their customer. They know probably their name, whereas If they used to sell shoes in a department store, you didn't know the
Yeah.
name of the customer. Well, now Nike or Under Armour or Reebok or whoever, with these apps and with these relationships they're building, they can target their customers better. They can create longer term, stickier relationships with those customers. They can sell them more stuff. They can recommend new products and services. They can tie those products and services in with other brands and other fitness activities. It could be CrossFit. It could be something like that. All of that goes together, and the people that do that better with data and with analytics and with technology are the ones that seem to be coming out on top, and at least in terms of what I saw over the holidays, people what they were excited about, what they're at CES last week, what the wearable space is just blowing up.
Well, I was going to mention that. I mean, Under Armour, one of our customers, they released a large kit of, excuse me, I knew that was going to happen. A large kit of tools, right? That are all wearables, and that's all going up to a cloud, and it's all being used to get to know the customer better, to advise the customer better.
That's right.
Well, there's a big difference in just marketing your entire catalog to somebody and then finding maybe someone's a trail runner. There's specific parts of your catalog you can target to them and not waste the marketing on the people who are going to just run on a treadmill or who are going to be doing more urban running or bicycling.
Yeah.
And so to be able to target to your audience means you can be able to convert those at a higher rate and increase the bottom line and the satisfaction stickiness of those customers.
So with this prediction, I was really essentially predicting that this trend will continue. More and more companies this year, probably the vast majority of companies that want to survive in the next 5 or 10 years, they will wake up to the fact that they have to become data companies. Last year, I went to the New Relic conference again. We go almost every year, and you were there with me. We went broadcast from there. And New Relic has really started to transform their own business from a monitoring and management tool to becoming a data analytics and really becoming a data company themselves. And their products and their tools are helping their customers surface those insights from, and the product's called Insights. No coincidence
Just
there.
apropos.
Yeah. But the point is that they are helping their customers find that important data, that interesting data, that useful data in the streams of transactions that are already flowing through the business. It could be an e-commerce company that doesn't really realize how valuable some of the aspects of the data that's flowing through their system really are to them. But if you can surface those, if you can get them in front of the business user, if you can maybe even get them in front of the end user, then it becomes much, much, much more valuable of a company. And I think that's really the trend and the prediction there.
Absolutely, it's something we've talked about a couple of times on the show before. Is putting, I think you put a very good tag on it, putting that data to work.
That's right.
It allows you to make the right decisions, to know what questions to ask, and to make those right decisions. So.
That's right.
Well, and there's more and more of those data points available. I mean, to kind of take a step back towards the Under Armour conversation. I mean, it used to be, you had a pedometer, you knew how many steps you took, and then they started adding, your heart rate, and now we have gyros and altimeters,
sensors,
and all sorts of other bits of data that, when you contextualize them all, it creates a much clearer picture of what's going on, and that clearer picture gives you a much richer view of your customer base and can help you interact with them in a much clearer and more effective way. So
that's right.
There's just more and more that can be tracked and more that can be extrapolated from it.
And it will also open up a ton of new opportunities for businesses to really be created. I mean, this is a revolution that we're kind of going through here, where what used to be a company, might be, they might be put out of business by a new startup that figures out some. I mean, Uber is doing that. The first, really. I guess the first victim of this is the San Francisco yellow taxi. They're bankrupt now. They're declaring bankruptcy, and that's because of a upstart company who is harnessing data very powerfully to make the customer experience better. And I think that will happen everywhere. That will happen in every industry. If you think you're immune, I will almost bet you that you're not, and you need to really get ahead of that curve a little bit and start to take advantage of some of the technologies and the trends that are out there.
And if you don't, someone else will.
Somebody else will. Somebody else will definitely Uber you.
Yeah.